9 months ago, a bunch of guys got into a room and decided to make a show about the history of power, the history of energy through the ages. But the complication of a show about the history of energy and power is that on the outset it seemed like an impossible task to make it seem interesting. You know, why would you go on a date night with your wife or your husband or girlfriend or boyfriend to see a show about the history of energy? It doesn't seem like a topic that would be particularly a compelling ticket to buy. And therein lies the kind of challenge, but also the opportunity, because it's never been told before. No one's ever told the most important and the most generic story of our species.
Doomsday is around the corner. If you read the news, the carbon levels in the atmosphere have reached an all-time high, 400 parts per million. Do you understand that? No, neither do I, but it sounds terrifying. So bad it made it into the State of the Nation address. Did you hear our president giving that part?
I initially thought that is a terrible idea for a comedy show. There's no ways I can make comedy about that. But as it turns out, you can make comedy about pretty much anything. Nuclear, they don't think is the way forward either. You know, the Russians are about to give us 8 nuclear reactors. They're calling it the next arms deal, because after this one, we'll all have 3 arms.
I think the story of energy is probably the most important story that needs to be told right now for our species. And I mean that sincerely. I mean, you've got the Industrial Revolution, you know, ramping up the factory, ramp up the production line. Then you have the IT, or the intelligent communication revolution, where everything becomes faster and people are communicating faster. We've got a fundamental issue now on how we deal with the planet and how we deal with energy, and that's the next revolution. Like, how are we going to keep all the good things that we've created over the last 300 years in play, while managing them in a way that doesn't actually screw us in the end?
And tonight, everything you saw and heard has been powered by renewable energy!
In this show, we're sort of putting our money where our mouths are, so to speak. We're actually powering part of this show using renewable energy sources. So you'll see solar panels on the set. We have a big biodiesel generator that was just delivered that's sitting on the ramp of the theater. So we're trying to go green and clean and raise a little bit of awareness all the while.
Well, my involvement with Power Struggle is actually through my wife, Inka, who's doing all the visuals and the visual creation and content and VJing, like visuals for the live performance. You know, you got to do your 10,000 hours in a craft. Well, like 1 hour into doodling, I got the call that I was going to do all the illustrations for Power Struggle. There's one of the many illustrations you'll find during the show. Here's an idea sketched up of Nick. Here's the real, it looks like almost like twins. They're so similar, you can hardly tell the difference.
Because the show is completely different, it's not something that can be run with a video cue system, as it changes all the time, and Nick changes his timings and moves things around. He wanted to add visuals to Nick's show, but also keep it really flexible. So we discussed that definitely live VJing, live visuals would be the way to go. Basically, I spent a week in the hotel with Nick and Daniel and Sam while Nick was rehearsing the show, and we just discussed what to do and played stuff live. It was a week of very little sleep and also shooting the segments that we needed filmed, that are to do with the baby and at the gate.
It's your mother-in-law, it's me, Yeti. Hi Nick, hi darling.
Hi, yes.
No one's ever really powered up a show like this before anywhere in the world. So just the idea where they'd be using chip oil from the local supermarket to drive the sound gear, the fact that we're using solar to actually power the video. All these things are done in a way that normally when you get into a theatre and you're staging something, you take things for granted. You know, you plug in and you're dealing with the creatives. This time we're dealing with a whole lot of innovations around the creativity.
We wanted this to be a sustainability consciousness shifter. So for at least a few minutes after they leave the theatre, we'd like them to be thinking about the issues that face the planet. And then as soon as they leave the theatre, they can be thinking about other issues like how not to pay the car guard and which way to get home by avoiding the roadworks in the middle of the night.